A&E networks and LEAH REMINI. We're going to go over the first paragraph. It says, LEAH REMINI has long since had a way of causing so much disruption, spread rumors, and blackmailing people to get her way. This is definitely true in the case of A&E networks and her series on, quote-unquote, exposing her former religion. The timing was almost perfect when she decided to publicly, quote-unquote, leave Scientology, even though she was expelled, and then she posed it as leaving, quote-unquote. But she used this expulsion as a publicity stunt and made it seem as if she was a big deal in Scientology and that Scientology was trying to get her to come back so they could fix something. In actuality, LEAH REMINI was expelled, and Scientology doesn't help expelled people, as they have already tried to help the person, and they haven't been able to get across to the person, and so the person will continue to do things that are against the codes of Scientology. The church made no attempt at, quote-unquote, handling or salvaging anything with her. She was gone to them, and Scientologists were thrilled that she was gone. She was a pretender, and she always worked on lying to others about things that she didn't do, or did do, whatever the case was at that time. There were moments when she was at an event or a church gathering that she would either show up intoxicated, belligerent, and otherwise in harassment mode against fellow members. She would cause scenes that wouldn't have any basis, and she would always request to have venue spaces and even rooms made her way, otherwise there would be, quote-unquote, trouble, whatever that meant. She did this with officials and members anywhere and everywhere. She didn't really care about being a Scientologist. She just cared about being a prima donna, really. It was always LEAH that would take advantage of Scientologists and their willingness to help. They would assist her in her career, get her new gigs, help her by providing her an investment, and even sometimes giving her a place to stay at someone's house when she was starting up. When she was expelled, she decided that she would first harass the leader of the church, David Miscavige, by claiming that his wife was missing. She could never get an answer from him or his fellows at the Religious Technology Center because she was already labeled as obsessed with the leader. And anything having to do with Mr. Miscavige is kept on the down low due to the fact that Scientology is being attacked and the officials have a job of protecting Scientologists and its staff members and their religious order. LEAH doesn't have the authority to ask where Shelley is, where David Miscavige lives, and other such personal questions. Just like I wouldn't have the authority to ask you where you live, what your social security number is, and where your wife or husband is at the moment. See, so she's just creating a bunch of random things, and A&E is just loving it. A&E was loving it until they were forced with the decision of whether or not to support a murderer or just cancel it, and so they chose the latter. This is what, so A&E was provided tons of information from the church, tons of information. They bugged the church about being part of, well, what is it? No, they didn't want the church to be a part of this quote-unquote series exposing them until they started becoming, more involved in, mind control, brainwashing kind of deals, the techniques or whatever. Marty Rathbun explains that a little bit more in terms of how LEAH REMINI and Mike Rinder and Tony Ortega and the rest of them train themselves on how to deliver this stuff and then how to go out and attack people even more. So they were just willing to go out and lure Scientologists in and attack them on national television, which of course that's what just happens with apostates, and they love controversy, and they would have loved the opportunity of doing that, but sorry, that wasn't just going to happen. No Scientologist wanted to be a part of that. Also, it's just a bunch of lies. That's what LEAH and her cohorts and the anti-Scientology cult is all about. Here are two statements from two really respected professors on apostates. So here it is. The court of law can't readily regard the apostate as a credible or reliable source of evidence. He must always be seen as one whose personal history predisposes him to bias. That's from Professor Brian Wilson of All Souls College at Oxford and the British Academy. And then no matter what they have stated about Scientology personally, quote unquote, it is all geared toward a purpose in their agenda. As shown by Dr. Lonnie Cleaver, longtime professor of religious studies at Southern Methodist University. This is what she has to say. These apostates present a distorted view of the new religions to the public, the academy, and the courts by virtue of their ready availability and eagerness to testify against their former religious associations and activities. Such apostates always act out of a scenario that vindicates themselves by shifting responsibility for their actions to the religious group. Such apostates can hardly be regarded as reliable informants by responsible journalists, scholars, or jurists. There it is. That's by Dr. Cleaver. Those are two statements that you should take to heart, because the apostates really shouldn't be relied on for credible information at all. I mean, they're just another tabloid source. They are being paid to do what they're doing, and so and also the fact that they were expelled doesn't make them a reliable or credible source at all. They're just disgruntled with how they were found out. So there it is. Get your copy of Escaping Leah at exposingcrimes.com. Again, it's exposingcrimes.com, Escaping Leah. You'll find it there. Get the whole entire set at a discounted price. Alrighty, guys, I will see you on the next chapter, chapter 16. Alrighty, thanks so much.